Our education system does a great job at telling us what we need to think, but maybe that's not what we should spend so much emphasis on. Maybe we should spend more focus on teaching kids on learning how to think. That way we can make better decisions based off of our lives and our goals and our interests. What's up everybody, I am Jaspreet Singh from theminorityMindset.com and welcome to The Minority Mindset. There's a critical difference in knowing what to think and knowing how to think. Everybody in the world wants you to be easily moldable so they can tell you what you need to think. Banks want to tell you that you should go into debt, that way you can buy the new boat that you can't afford. Pharma companies want you to think that your life sucks and that your life can be much better if you just buy a pill. And politicians want you to think that they are liars and that the world is out to get us and your life and your country as you know it is in danger. So vote for me in November and I will save you! Maybe that was a little too much, but you get the idea. What's interesting though is that if you look at some of the most successful people in the world, Steve Jobs, Albert Einstein, Oprah Winfrey, Jeff Bezos, Mark Zuckerberg, none of them just blindly listened to what people said they should think. They knew how to think. And that difference between knowing what to think and knowing how to think can make all the difference in the world. And this is where our education system is lacking. Our education system, for the most part, does a good job at teaching people what they need to think. Imagine for a minute this crazy radical idea where schools actually help students identify and explore their talents and grow their creativity over the 21 years where they're in school, instead of having every single person follow the exact same routine. There's a meme floating around on the internet that explains this really well. It's a teacher talking to a class of animals. You have a monkey, an elephant, a seal, a fish, and a couple others, and the teacher says, okay, for fair selection, you are all going to be judged by the same exam. The first one of you to climb that tree wins. If you compare a monkey and a fish by their ability to climb a tree, obviously the monkey's gonna win. Now if you're a fish, you're gonna live your life thinking you're worthless because you can't climb a tree as good as monkeys can. You silly monkey. But if we switch things up and we judge the monkey and a fish by their ability to swim, we're gonna get a very different result. This is what happens when you have one standard way of evaluating students and one way of helping students grow and build their creativity. But as somebody who has gone through a lot of schooling, is a licensed attorney, and makes a pretty good living without using any of my degrees, I can tell you that you can become very financially successful whether you're good at climbing a tree or swimming in a lake, metaphorically speaking. For some of you, medicine, science, math, technology is what you like and it's what you're good at, and if that's you, that's what you should do. For others of you, your mind thinks in numbers and you're gonna like finance and accounting way more. For you creatives, writing, design, art, and music are the way to go. And for some of you crazy people who cannot work for somebody else and who do not mind working 20 hours a day, entrepreneurship is the way to go. You can become extremely financially successful in any one of these paths if you're ambitious enough. I personally know millionaires who got rich by becoming doctors, some by becoming musicians, others by starting a business, and some who were great writers and they knew how to market their skill. We are blessed to live in a day and age where you can become unbelievably financially successful by doing something you love, even if it's not the traditional route, if you know how to work hard, you love what you do, you're ambitious, and you know how to use your money the right way. And this is where our education system is failing students. We go into school hoping we can learn how to think, but we end up walking out learning what to think. I mean, how many times have your teachers told you that you don't need an A in my class to become successful? How many times did your teachers tell you that you can live a more successful and fulfilled life if you spend less time on homework and more time exploring your creativity? And how many times did your college professors tell you that, look, I know you're paying $4,000 for this class, but you're probably never going to use this information ever. Oh yeah. Look, I know it's much harder to teach someone how to think and it's much harder to cultivate so many people's creativities, but knowing how to think is much more powerful than knowing what to think, and this is where it's your job to now learn how to think. And the unfortunate reality is when you just know what to think instead of learning how to think, it's much easier to get you to listen to someone else. It is in our culture to listen to people with authority. And I'll just be straight up with you. Our brand has a pretty strong presence in the financial space, and I could make millions of dollars a year selling you a crappy system on how to get rich overnight. You might think that, oh, if we did that, then people would lose trust in our brand and that we wouldn't be as big and people wouldn't support us, but that's not necessarily true. Because I would then be speaking directly to your emotions and I would tell you exactly what you want to hear. I wouldn't say things like investing has risks, this is a long-term game, and you have to make sacrifices. I'd say, look, if you're trying to make more money, stop buying all the other crap out there. I have literally the 2 best stocks that you should be buying this week, and this is literally the easiest and simplest way for you to double your money. So if you're looking to get rich, get in now and get these 2 stocks. That way you can get rich with me. This type of selling can get people excited, but there's a difference between selling education and selling hype. Online education itself isn't a bad thing. I mean, it gives you access to information that you wouldn't have before. Like we have courses on money management and stock market investing with real education that I am very proud of because they actually teach you how to do these things. But I do not believe in telling you exactly what you need to do to become successful. That's for you to figure out what's right for you, because if you can figure that out, you will be way more successful than just following somebody's system. Our brand's goal is to teach you how to think with your money the right way. That way you can make smart decisions and live your best life financially. And this is why I'm also a big fan of our sponsor Skllshare, because they're changing the way we learn in this digital age. Skllshare, for those of you who are unfamiliar, is an online learning community for creatives where you can go and learn almost anything from art to photography to web development to business management. They have classes on almost anything you can imagine from teachers that actually do what they teach. Like you can go on Skllshare and learn social media from Gary Vee and see how he built his multi-million person social media empire. Most of the classes are less than 60 minutes long and you can watch the lessons on your own free time. So if you're looking for a place where you can explore the creative side of your brain, Skllshare is for you. They're always launching new classes and it is affordable because with an annual plan, it'll cost you less than $10 a month. And the best part of all is that Skllshare is giving Minority Mindset fans 2 free months of their premium membership so you can explore your creativity, but this offer is only available for the first 1,000 people who take advantage of the offer in the description below. Now, don't get me wrong, education is important. Like our education is the backbone of our success, but our education doesn't have to come from just one place. School has its place, okay? I'm not trying to sit here and just trash school because I got a lot of value out of school, but just not through the traditional classroom setting. But what I think a lot of people get wrong is that they think school is where the education ends, but in reality, school is just the first step. That's where your education really begins. That's difficult because that means you need to be the one to go out of your way to know, okay, I need to keep learning. What do I need to keep learning? And where do I keep learning these things from? But this is what differentiates the average from the great. If you want to be one of the people who are known to be great, that means you have to go out of your comfort zone, keep learning things that you've never learned before, and keep opening your minds, because a closed mind is a closed life. Now, I'm not here to tell you that you need to stop being comfortable and go out and think bigger if you're happy and content with where you are in life. I'm trying to tell you that if you want something bigger, you have to be the one to go out and get it. And that starts with opening your mind, because your mind is what influences your actions, your thoughts, and everything that you do. It's not just financial success either. I mean, I know that's what we talk a lot about on this channel, but it really has to do with just living a good and healthy life. It sucks to say this, but we are living in a very polarized world right now, where if you have a certain belief, then you cannot be friends with or talk to somebody who has a different belief. You just don't communicate. But how can we ever expect to progress, whether we're talking about as a society, as a country, or as an economy, if we're not able to communicate with each other and have an open mind? If you go into a discussion or an argument with a closed mind, you have already lost. If you don't believe me, just scroll through your Facebook. See how many times people say, if you don't believe me, or if you believe this, just delete me as a friend now. Creativity is what fuels innovation, and innovation is what fuels growth. Now, whether we're talking about a society or an economy, if we have a closed mind, we can't have any of this. Sure, maybe schools don't have the resources or the ability to foster each individual student's creativity, but hopefully we, as minority mindset thinkers, can go out of our own way to individually learn this and start expanding our own minds. That way we can start growing ourselves. And hopefully slowly this will trickle down. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, share it with one friend. That way we can help spread the word. If you want to get an overview of what investing is and how investing works and how you can start investing, I already made a video on this, and you can watch this video on YouTube by clicking this button right over here. Thank you for watching, and as always, keep hustling.